Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EGFC Season 2, or Season 3. I'm South Beach. That is user intel that way. And we got DePaul University versus Quinnipiac University. Two really good schools playing a really good game of Smash Bros.
Man, it's gonna be really exciting to see how they come out, especially in Ultimate, though not one of the most popular forms of Smash. It's still Smash nonetheless, but with every character for some reason, as Sakurai just decided to just throw them in, have a little bit more fun. Though we're not gonna be getting anyone else, I think we're gonna have a little bit more of opportunity, especially variety when it comes out, because we've been seeing a lot of different characters today.
Yep, and for our first matchup, we got Skull Kid for DePaul going up against Soul Cake Live for Quinnipiac. Skull Kid, he rocks Ness and Min Min, and I think he does another character, but I'm not quite sure who else. And then Quinnipiac, excuse me, for Soul Cake Live for Quinnipiac is got a trio of Sonic, Joker, and Banjo and Kazooie. So
Ooh.
definitely a good matchup here.
I'm definitely liking the opportunity of seeing a Banjo-Kazooie character as well. Banjo-Kazooie has always been one of in those mixed places for me. I never knew where to stand when it comes to seeing it, so I'm very excited to see kind of what's going to happen out of this. However, I hear that little spin dash with Sonic versus Ness.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna see a lot of PK fires from Ness, but Sonic, I gotta say, is a really good choice against Ness with that speed, making sure Ness doesn't catch him, but Ness easily caught him there, and it looks like there goes those PK fires, and wow, good start so far.
Oh, yep, gonna be taking those opportunities, just trying to stop Sonic's mobility. It's not necessarily hard, pun not intended, as we see Soul Cake just trying to do their best to be able to spin dash, get a combo off of it, but there's just so much coming out of Ness and so much pressure. It's really hard to do anything, especially when you're not just like being able to play the game.
For sure. And watch the yo-yo, and does not get the opportunity to avoid it as Skull Kid leads with 3 stocks over Soul Cake Live.
We're already seeing them moving out. Skull Kid basically just feels fine. The Ness just has so much room, especially with that PK fire. You get a lot of opportunities to be able to pump in that damage, but Soul Cake finally finding opportunities to be able to punch in is not going to be able to isolate or kind of solidify anything. The range is obvious, and it's just not helping them.
And yet, you gotta watch out if you're... Oh! If you're recovering. Watch out for that thunder.
Ooh, it's going to be a big problem. It's just so much range. Look at this, already setting up, trying to get that uppercut. Unfortunately, that misses just barely, so this 3-stock may not be possible. Sonic's finally ramping it up, but the PK fire is absolutely oppressive, especially when the fact that we're just seeing the Ness force you into the air.
Yep, and didn't make the same mistake twice, landing on the thunder. Maybe, nope. Got to take advantage of there, just a little too far, plus the shield for Skull Kid. And finally gets a stock off, however, sitting at 91% over Skull Kid's 2 stocks and a fresh set of damage ratio. Almost hit a home run right there, but my goodness, Soul Cake has a mountain to climb.
Yep, look at this. Just being very careful, trying to do as much damage as possible while not letting themselves go too close to the edge. However, that grab, overpowered, absolutely
lethal.
Impressive.
That grab is something else and can just throw you from one end of the continent to the other side of the world, as Ness and Skull Kid get 2 for DePaul University and a really commanding start as well.
Gotta say also just a really nice start as well. A good usage of just the PK fires, stop Sonic's mobility, and we all know the meme. Sonic's gotta go fast, and well, if you're not gonna be able to play fast, you're not really gonna be able to play the game, as that's very evident, as well as if you've been seeing in kind of the lackluster competitive scene of the Nickelodeon version, Ness is almost compared to kind of Aang when it comes to just that edge guarding. It's absolutely impressive, and you've got to put more respect onto Ness's name. I don't really have a clear strategy to be able to beat them. I kind of just always hope that they're a worse player than me.
Well, Skull Kid, or excuse me, Soul Cake Live has two other characters that he uses, and those two are Joker and Banjo. So, would you think that a character change could be in order?
Definitely feel a character change can kind of adapt because there are just opportunities that you're never going to be able to take, and especially going up against somebody, you're never going to be able to use that same strategy and kind of go forward. So I definitely think a character swap makes that big difference, especially when some characters just naturally counter each other, and that's perfectly fine to admit when you're not going to be able to play that Sonic no matter how fast you go. You still have a lot more opportunities and characters you want to switch up with. Obviously, like Banjo Kazooie, which gets me a little excited to think about.
Banjo Kazooie, I honestly think one of the more underrated characters. We don't really see. At least I don't really see a lot of tournament players as Banjo Kazooie. They're definitely out there for sure. But yeah, my old roommate always destroyed me as Banjo Kazooie. But I mean, unless I was King DDD, then I destroy him. But
I'm glad
anyway,
you're at least feeling proud about that. And that's just because Banjo-Kazooie's mechanics are a little more interesting because you have a certain amount of like feathers that you can use per turn, and it's really uncomfortable sometimes to be able to play that banjo, especially when you're going up against characters who have a lot more sustain or recovery. It's not always going to feel the best, and it's very much a dangerous game that I feel you have to just be like absolutely aggression on, like just domination flat out.
and then King DD is just better. Anyway, we have our bands from DePaul. We have Final Destination, Town and City, and Kalos. So Quinnipiac will be making a pick pretty soon, and it's not going to be those three. If I were to guess, we would probably run it back to PS2.
Wouldn't be too surprised. It seems to be everybody's favorite map, though, for obvious reasons that I'll let you think about. Either way, I'm very excited to see if we're going to see a possible switch, though it's probably not likely. Maybe there has been a strategy for the Sonic that has been absolutely awakened, and they're ready to kind of pull that tail end on us.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness! And they picked Lilac. They picked Lilac.
What you got with that map?
What do I have with that map? It's just not good. That's all I can say. Those ledges once again. It's very, as my producer just told us, it tilts me. It's very tilted. It's
But
ah,
it's no
yeah.
tilted towers.
You're right. It's no tilted towers. Tilted towers is way better. Like
Yeah.
if that was in Smash Bros, that would be a very very legendary move from Sakurai.
Yeah, I will give you this though. You're 100% right when it comes to how tilting this map can be. It's not very favorable on Ness, obviously similar to how Robin works, but the better pressure just comes in that the platforms are in such a kind of close proximity that Skull Kid's gonna get a lot more benefit out of it and a lot more spatial awareness, as it's gonna be harder for Soul Cake to truly land down, especially when there are so many platforms. It's gonna be much easier for Skull Kid to throw out PK Fire, PK Thunder, or the Yo-Yo and take you out.
Jeez, that's a brutal hit right there. And Skull Kid only sitting at 20%. My goodness, what a hot start for Skull Kid.
Just setting themselves up for absolute beauty. We see Skull Kid already taking an insane amount of damage. This is the pressure you're wanting for. Just keep going forward. Don't even get that Skull Kid a second to breathe.
Alright, Soul Cake Live coming alive here. Just needed a bite of that cake and now pulling out the moves here.
Trying to do as much as they can when it comes to taking out Skull Kid. The issue comes is that Soul, once again, is being caught out by these small moves. Did get a little bit of a parry, but not going to be able to really successfully find anything. Skull Kid's PK Fire is just absolutely impressive no matter where it is.
Here comes a little air move from Sonic, and this should do it. And it goes, and now we're 2 apiece for Soul Cake Live and Skull Kid. However, 92-12. Not the best. Oh my goodness, missed the lightning rocket from Ness.
Absolutely close. The Soul Cake really needs to just get in as much damage as possible. You're not really working to get this stock, though obviously that is your game plan. You're at such a high level that you want to make sure that when you're on that first stock, you can kind of trade in absolutely quickly. But it seems that Soul Cake's finally starting to adapt, playing much faster, baiting up these PK fires, and getting these
Ooh!
beautiful sidesteps.
That back air from Sonic is one of his best moves, one of the best back airs, honestly. Sometimes you just see a lot of Sonic players just spam that move the entire time and they win the match. And then here comes Skull Kid with a little back air right back at him. And now we're down, it's coming down to just this last stock.
Any form of a comeback, it's absolutely right now. Soul Cake's finally learned how to figure out and play against it, just waiting to break those shields. Look for these parries. A beautiful set over the range on Skull Kid can be absolutely devastating, and it's really hard to try to beat against it. So this is where the baits are trying. It's more of a mind game than truly a battle.
Quite a chess match here as we're seeing both these characters trying to find the right moment. And it looks like Skull Kid got a really good advantage.
Having to just
Yeah.
There's just
I
nothing you can do. The edge guarding is just too strong. Soul Cake, unfortunately, is just not going to be able to bring that back. That's a little bit upsetting. I saw the potential there. I was excited for it.
It was a very close match at the last second. Just bust out the yo-yo, and it was just all Skull Kid, all DePaul, 5-0 over Quinnipiac, but saw a little bit of life there from Soul Cake Live, and hopefully that carries on to their next player.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that sentiment. I don't think Soul Cake did bad
And that
at
combo
all.
was nasty.
It was increasingly nasty. You know, I would never want. Like, this is the reason why I don't play up against NES players. All right, they have one of the hardest abilities to amateurs, and then they just immediately just knock you out. And you know,
Right.
how am I supposed to respect you like that?
Right. On online play, if I see an S player, I immediately SD like 3 times in a row. Sometimes it's 2 times in a row. Just wait after my ban is gone and then go back right into this matchup. But literally, it's those NES players super nasty. And that yo-yo had great range and just, you couldn't avoid it. You couldn't avoid that yo-yo. It's impossible.
Yeah, it hurts to see, but at least when it comes to the future and how they're going to be kind of setting up, they may not have to worry about another NES player being absolutely oppressive. They're going to have a bit more time, especially with the switches, to kind of figure out what they exactly want to do. And, well, I think there's a lot of benefits to that, especially kind of being able to pick what map type you want.
For sure. Coming up next, we have Matt Beach stepping in for DePaul, and then Baco is stepping in for Quinnipiac. Baco, he is a Shulk main, and
Ooh.
then I believe Matt Beach is Kazuya? Nope. Wait, yes. Hold on.
Okay, Kazuya, yeah. Kazuya is absolutely terrifying. Good Kazuyas have such good like side steps, you know? It's absolutely terrifying to be able to see them just clip you down and you know, be able to do as much as that. So I can definitely respect that, but I love Shulk, you know, I'm really feeling it.
That will definitely be quite a matchup. I don't know. Who would you say, like, at the Shulk and Kazuya come out on top?
I think to a head-to-head fight, if we're just talking about pure out, I think Shulk technically wins those, but if we're bringing like techniques and kind of adaptability and the fact that just comeback potential, I absolutely want to give it to the Kazuya. Kazuya
Mm.
is a Tekken character, and they gave Tekken steps to it. So if you come from Tekken, or at least play any type of fighting game that is similar to Tekken, you're just going to be absolutely clean when it comes to playing. So that's why I kind of give it more into that Kazuya. But if we're just going like flat out, like we don't know anything about these players, you know, we ignore everything before and we're looking at them directly of how they've been playing, not playing, but like been thinking about playing or kind of the ideas of those two characters, I think Shulk wins it out. Shulk just has so much diversity when it comes to playing.
Yeah, definitely a tough call there. I don't really see any. I've never really seen a Shulk versus Kazuya matchup, so definitely could be interesting to see. Can you guess the stage we're going to? You're gonna like it.
I'm gonna have to hope it's Final Destination, you know? Too many bands today for Final Destination.
Too many bands for sure, but not this one because we're running to Final Destination in this matchup here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just gave me like the most confusing heart attack I've ever
Oh.
had. Sitting there like, oh man, no Final Destination. Then you bring it up. I was like, oh, Final Destination! Yay!
For sure, yep. Definitely one of the first time we're gonna see it on this. I think this is the first time we're seeing it on the stream. Yeah, no, it is. So definitely, it's a great stage. I don't know why people don't really pick it.
It's just so overdone, and sometimes there are better stages if you're running specific strategies or characters. I think you can very much work well, similarly to the last map that we saw, and how annoying it can be for people who use ranged attacks. I think that's somewhat not possible on Final Destination, because Final Destination is just pure flat. It's just pure skill kind of coming out.
And that's the beauty of it, though. That's all it is. Is just skill. You don't use platforms to your advantage. It's just, it's that final Naruto versus Sasuke moment, right there at the very end. Uh, but it's not there. It's not at Tilted Towers. Oh my goodness, Naruto and Sasuke fight at Towers. Actually, they won't, but that could have happened.
I'm I mean, like, depending map and such, I think you're going absolute mad, though. You're still on the Fortnite
Yeah,
analogies.
I don't know. I might have to re-download it just because of the Naruto skins, but it's all good. I'm gonna stay strong there. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stay strong.
stay strong. You've got this, all right? It's not.
Mhm.
It's Listen. It's all about Smash now. Smash is the esports we're looking into.
Exactly. So it looks like we're just gonna wait for a button check coming up here between Quinnipiac and DePaul. Still not quite sure what the delay is. Two schools. Maybe just trying to. Maybe someone's not in the arena yet. You just never know what's going on.
I'd like to think these players are trying to take as long as possible because they just find it funny. I think that's very much what they're more focused on. They just sit there and they think to themselves, well, we don't have to start till like 10 minutes. We have to start now, but we could just wait 10 minutes. I got to figure out who I want to play.
hmm And kind of fine by me. The longer they take, the money we get on our end for the hour release. So
Oh
that's
no.
that's how I think of it.
That's fair enough, but it's not always about the money, Spider-Man. So it's about the smash. All right, let's see. Look at that. That's terrifying. Kazuma players scare me. I think they're like the kids who sit in the back of the classroom. You don't always talk to them, but when you do, you got to worry about what's going on.
And this is definitely an interesting fight here because Kazuya, probably one of the better DLC characters. I'd still probably take Terry, but being out, he wasn't out very very long. Like it's only been a couple months now,
Like
or a few
roughly.
months. Yeah, that he's been out. So, and knowing Matt Beach, the captain for DePaul, he's put in a lot of serious work for Kazuya. So it's not just going up against Kazuya, it's going up against a pretty good master at Smash Bros. And picking up Kazuya just like that.
But and I find it impressive. Sometimes a lot of people are just more uninterested with going on characters like that. I think more than anything, a lot of people like to stick to what they're normal with. But seeing people kind of switch over to the newbie, the new character who needs to kind of prove themselves first, is a really nice play. And I'm very excited to see how this starts out. As immediately, look at that. What did I tell you about Kazuya?
Exactly. This match getting a little scary.
Yep, it's just absolutely close quarters combat, and this is where the Tekken skills start coming in. Just look at the footsies and just trying to play around. That's a little, wording that I like to use. Making sure that the CO pressures are in. There's not much Bako can do. Not even getting a chance to be able to switch over to the smash or kind of bust their ability. Has to more use them when they're being hit.
Jeez, just the accuracy with that laser too, whatever that's called. And then just recover. Both players able to recover here, and it looks like Bako strikes first, able to get that forward smash.
Yep, having to just play as careful as possible. It just seems switching over to that shield just fast enough is going to help in the long run, though they do have to wait, rotate it out. I think they really just need to play more aggressive, be as annoying as possible to Matt.
For sure. And here comes a throw. Stays in bounds. Able to recover back on stage easily. And yeah, look.
I'm loving the strategy that Baku's going for. Going over to that speed, absolutely hearing what we're saying. And look at this. What is Kazuya going to do? Jump back to the stage?
Nope. Baka doesn't even let him get a chance.
Yep, and I was going to point out the fact that they were still on 3 stocks. However, immediately Matt's going to be able to get that combo in. But Matt's on the back burner. And this is where Kazuya's are going to, like, I think benefit more from, as that pressure is going to help them, even if the recovery is still really good. But look at that, a cinematic grab and then goes in for the little jabs. It's impressive.
Absolutely. Bako definitely very well aware that he's going up against Kazuya. Definitely well aware. Just immediately just goes into shield. So Matt Beach kind of struggling here.
Trying to do his best just to be able to kind of finish this out. Kazuya is all about kind of those combos, just to be able to break through. And see, that's the opportunity that you're looking for. But at 73, you know, Bako has been kind of keeping up the pace, and with the shields that they're trying to be able to, like, dodge themselves. So you got to be able to just immediately shut that down or waste the shield kind of spins.
It's those aerials that really been helping. It's gonna help right here with the forward smash. Baka Quinnipiac gets on the board here, and they smell blood in the water, already trying to flip some script here.
That was absolutely dirty. Just the range on Shulk is always going to be able to beat out against your opponent. So that's a plus side that you don't really have to worry about, I think. So when looking more out, I'm more interested to see how they're going to be playing against it. They seem to not be able to do too much, and that's a big problem. I think the Kazuya very much wants to be able to move forward, try to hit those combos, though missing a couple frames data, maybe that's what they're more looking at. They're just not going to be able to get too close in, and they're struggling to kind of hit the shots that they want to hit.
And that was just a clear opportunity for Bako right there. And here comes some of the moves from Kazuya. Great little cut. There's that combo. And just the little multiple uppercuts here. That was only able to work because of shield mode. That was the only reason why.
Yeah, and that's why Kazuma is a very scary opponent to go up towards. That's something I never would want to wish upon my worst enemies.
For sure. And the bands came in from Quinnipiac, Lilac, Battlefield, and Yoshi. And Matt Beach just said, let's run it back to Final Destination.
I can respect that. Going back to back is a very uncommon, but at least Kazuya is going to have an easier time being able to play. Pure talent needs to be able to move in, but Bako is doing a good job of just moving around at this point, wanting to be able to depth, but the grabs are coming in.
Just, oh my goodness, just 4 of those animations, lovely animations. And now Bako just trying to just camp out onto the edge, trying to get Matt Beach off stage. Does not work.
I'm absolutely loving this edge guarding. Look at that. Baku is not being able to kind of adapt to where Matt is immediately now going in for more grabs, more of a grapple character at this point, and it's working to great effects.
Boom. Oh my goodness, I thought that was going to smash him. Does not work.
Kazuya needs to hit those combos if you want to be able to just purely smash. So, I mean, but that was a little demon mode Kazuya, so I don't know how much that counts.
Demon mode's definitely going to need to be a big factor if you're going to win this game. Yeah, not sure if this is recoverable. No.
I think a little bit more of a second, Matt would have been able to hit it, but just a, not the worst type of strategy. You managed to hit off your little laser eye beams, and now you're going to get a couple quick jabs in. Baku is trying to feel this out, but it's becoming a problem. The moment they get close, they get grabbed.
Sure, and then there's those jabs and kicks. Tekken's always known for. My goodness, there's the shield. Trying to protect himself. Shield mode definitely came in clean there. Demon mode, Kazuya got that without shield mode. It would have been 1 more stock left.
trying to do the best that they can when it comes to just this pressure, but Matt is a beast in of themselves. The Buster, though, is going to be able to kind of lower it down, but look at that. Another moment, goes behind, grabs, now Kazuya takes the lead.
Absolutely. And there's more grabs from Kazuya that are so deadly. That's not how you want to end the match. It's not how you want to end it.
That is definitely not the way you want to end it. That was a little disappointing. It was getting really intense too. We got to see that moment of just like, Shulk, nah, Shulk, you're finally gonna be losing Kazuma. You know, it's just ready to take you out. And then unfortunately, it just seems that it's not enough. That Kazuma bringing in the work. I don't know what type of like talent it is to force to kind of put the enemy in a position where they can't get back like that, especially the character like Shulk who has that jump ability. It's just a good way to be able to kind of bring in the scoreline for yourself.
And that move was clean, just avoiding the smash Shulk and then just quickly getting behind, and then just a little anticlimactic ending right there from Bako. But you know, we got one more game. This is our first game 3 of this stream, so that's a plus here. And we're gonna go to PS2 here. Bands were Smashville Town and Yoshi Story, so we just elected to go to PS2.
It's such a popular storyline when it comes to these, but look at this, Matt. It's just being able to punish Bako for trying to shield. It's almost like you're not allowed to play the game passively.
Just 25 to 112. Probably still gonna be climbing here. Jump was activated, but now immediately Bako switches over to Buster, trying to bust some moves here.
Yep, having to play very carefully, especially Bako does go on the shield, and I think this is the one that you really primarily want to be on. The issue comes is that it lowers down on your defenses, but at least you kind of make it up, because look, how is Matt going to be able to predict you if you're just running in almost playing like a Sonic character?
Oh!
And see, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to just switching up the pace and being able to put in that line. Now Bako's looking a little bit better.
Yeah, Bako with a lot of good momentum his way. I think maybe some of that might be the stage with platforms and him just staying alive here.
Yep, just having to play carefully, but that grab is just so oppressive, and Bako's not being able to kind of adapt around it. They have both fully adapted to each other, and it's a matter of who's going to be either more lucky or more talented to be able to finish this out, as the moment Bako shields, gets punished, and the moment that Matt tries to move in, Bako's going to be looking to punish it, see?
Yep, it's like a game where defense is your worst nightmare. You don't want to play... It's a game where you don't want to play defense, or you're going to get punished. Yep, doesn't really help you.
Yeah, I agree. Now looking in, they're now paying more attention to the kind of shield management. Though Kazuma is at the lead, Bako is looking to be able to stun this out, just barely misses it, possibly even could have won. But Matt is still ready to grab you or kick your face.
And a roundhouse from Matt Beach, sitting at only 77. Bako bringing out smash, and it's running out immediately. Try to do a little up smash attack, not gonna work out though. And now 84-21, make that 92.
Has to be a little bit more careful.
Here we go.
Once again, it's an even tie. However, Kazuya has been able to just be able to clear things out. Matt is just so good, wishing that was shield though.
Yep, and now it's just gonna come down to this. One stock apiece. Bako with speed running out final already, but now able to get a little bit of damage on a Matt Beach. Matt Beach moving in. Here comes some more. What's it called? Xenoblade. Oh, and a counter!
Yep, you need to be implementing those more often. Though it is somewhat cheesy, debatably speaking, you're being able to beat out these close quarters and getting that smash hit. That's what I'm talking about, a grand finale when it comes to breaking in that scoreline.
My goodness, it just came down the very last stock, and Bako came in very, very clean at the very end, getting their school on the board, Quinnipiac on the board, 7-4, and wow, that was a, I'll tell you what, that was a really thrilling game 3 there.
I gotta agree. I'm hoping for a little bit more like those. I think that's truly where matchup and individual skills kind of start peaking in. We get to see where these players are trying to do their best to kind of optimize every single second. But it just seemed that Baco, the Shulk works better, especially when Matt started to back up a little, put down the grappling playstyle, and tried to be as just normal Kaguza as possible.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just a lot of. It was pretty much. It just came down to skill, basically, at the very end. Who had the who like, or not skill, but like reading the situation better at the very end, and Baco set that up very, very well. Knew only one way Kazuya could recover was up, and it was just a smashing in little Buster Sword attack right there. Buster Sword. Good stuff.
You could also just take that pride in, that was a really fun match. So I think none of these players have anything to be ashamed of. So, the people coming in, I think they have something to be ashamed of, especially if they're not going to be able to kind of bring it back.
Mm-hmm. That, yeah, for sure. Definitely going back. Uh, really an all-around great game from both. It was just Baco with the edge. And coming up next, we have Quinnipiac bringing in Mr.
Ooh.
S character. So we'll see another here. And then we also have Icaro. And Icaro is Bayonetta and a really good you say so.
Icaro is not Icarus.
Not Icarus.
Not playing the pit, the main inspiration of the character.
Or, yeah, just, Bayonetta's kind of suits him better, I guess. But
I mean, hey.
Maybe he saw the Eternals and not a fan of Icarus here.
The game is also I think Bayonetta is one of those more kind of curious characters. I don't really have too much to say kind of about her. Obviously, back in the day, she used to be absolutely dominant, especially in the last Smash version. I think we can all agree that she was one of those busted characters. Was even kind of banned from the tournament at a time. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see her in her weaker form, kind of more set with combos like a Dante character.
Absolutely. And we're actually gonna take a little bit of a brief break here, just get a little bit more control set up for these schools here. So we'll be right back in a really, really short break, so stick around. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking around with us. Felt like a year since we've gone, but either way, we are ready to go. Both players are in the arena and lobby. Who was it again? Mr. Purple and Icaro coming in for DePaul. And the stage looks like we're going to is Battlefield. BS2 in town were banned, so is Final Destination. And it is Ness and Bayonetta, so quite the matchup we got.
Bayonetta has such a variety of moves when it comes to this. She's a very quick and agile character, as well as her guns do a lot of chip damage. So we're just going to be seeing Icaro move and schmoove all around the game, and Purple's going to be trying to lessen that as much as possible.
Oh, and there's that witch time coming in, and that deadly combo Bayonetta can do from the air is going to be, I'm expecting to see that at some point in time. However, Mr. Purple rocking the Nest here. If you go up against Nest, we've seen this before already. Watch out for the yo-yo. Watch out for the PK fires. And yeah, you should. Yeah. That's how you win.
Yeah, I think the problem just comes in on the fact that Icaro is able to get away with so much. Just look how they immediately counter it. They're going to be able to hit that 2K and just shut you down. It's really hard to take Icaro out without immediately killing them.
Oh man, and here comes the Thunder. Doesn't quite work. And some PK fires just blocking the edge, and Icaro obviously can't recover, especially if there's a fire on the ledge. Don't want to do.
That's what I am talking about. Going to be able to get away with a lot there, especially just since it's all about the zoning in this fight. I kind of specifically think because those guns aren't really going to be doing a lot of damage. It's more of chip, and if Icaro gets to you, Icaro is going to kill you.
Absolutely. 21-44 between Purple and Icaro, and now Mr. Purple climbing in percentages. There's that combo coming in. I can't finish it quite yet, but still promising smash right there with the portal fist. I like to call it the portal fist. It has another name though.
Yep, just trying to be as careful as possible because Purple is now at 1 health. Well, not 1 health, 1 life, more of it. And, well, Icaro is being able to kind of close in this distance, so Mr. Purple's not going to be able to use the PK fires as much as they want. More reliant on just kind of hitting out with PK Thunder and any other attack that they can.
Now a little more side-to-side action from Icaro. Here's a little back air from Mr. Purple. We're going to try to use to take Icaro off stage, but the yo-yo, you know, what can you do against the yo-yo? Just attack through?
You just gotta not go where the yo-yo goes, and that's easier said than done, especially since Bayonetta does not have, you know, as good of a recovery as she used to have. It's still really good in the right hands, as we're seeing Icaro kind of being able to fly high, hit these nice shots, take it to the skybox, but not gonna be able to kind of finish it out.
Yeah, that would have been a great opportunity for Icaro, just unable to land that finishing strike. And speaking of finishing strikes, Mr. Purple evens out the stock difference. And here comes Witch Time, and a little fist bump. Keeps Mr. Purple alive. Try to go for the spike, not going to land it. PK fires all around.
Gonna have to play a little bit more careful. They're going in a dangerous zone. Mr. Purple is at least tied up the series. However, Icaro is still being able to just play all around them. And how are you going to be able to defeat that?
You gotta avoid it, you know? And how do you avoid it? Not like that. Oh, but still alive. Oh, and charging up the shots. Charging up the gunfire.
Coming close. The Bayonetta pressure is just immense. It's just too fast for Mr. Purple to be able to play around. Though being able to touch, you now just need to be absolutely different. You've just got to put up the God skill. However, that is an issue because look at Icaro just going and hits this combo.
Boom!
Not much you're going to be able to do against that. It's a little bit just of a sorry kind of mode.
Absolutely. It was just Icaro throwing the very last second. And takes this game, making it 8-4 for DePaul University. But it did come to the very last stock.
I think that's really good. As a Nest player, there's nothing more that you want than to be able to bring it close to that last stock. So it's a very opportune moment to kind of succeed in going further, especially during the rematch. At least you're going to be able to get a sense of how Icaro has already played and how you're going to be able to play against it. Though it is somewhat weird, I would at least say, because you know, obviously, just like in that last clip, you saw Mr. Purple's not getting a lot of opportunities to be able to do that, and that's what Nest strives on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nest definitely can use a lot of he's got a lot of ways to kill you, but if Bayonetta's really just not putting on a lot of pressure, there's just not much you can do. Like, you want to use the PK fires, obviously that's a good way to break it up, but there was literally one point where it was definitely at that last stock at the very end, I believe. We saw Nest throw a PK fire, but Bayonetta was just able to just right through it, whatever that move is called. But yeah, and if that's the pressure, you just got to find another way. And let's take a look at some bands here. Smashville, Nation, Kalos are the bands, and Quinnipiac elects to go with Small Battlefield as the next stage.
I mean, I don't think those are kind of like out of the ordinary maps to ban. I feel like if there were maps to ban, those work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think about, you know, kind of the possibilities, and I think this is going to be a very similar matchup as to before. It's just more of seeing if the Nest is going to be able to play around it and kind of just bring up the next score.
Absolutely. And let's just jump right into it. Back at Small Battlefield, basically where we left off, except in a smaller stage. It says it in the name, obviously. And
Yes.
here comes that PK fire.
The biggest difference is that there's one less platform, so this makes it a little bit easier for Mr. Purple to be able to play because there's less stuff for Bayonetta kind of to parry or sit on. However, it still comes on that issue that you don't have much room to play the game.
Mm-hmm. And you also need to avoid this combo that Icaro's busting out right here. And using the Witch Time to cancel out the Thunder obviously works to perfection. Trying to take him upstairs, but still just not landing at the very last second.
They're trying to do the best that they can. It's just, unfortunately, a big problem, especially with that fist.
Once again, another fist bump leads Mr. Purple only with 2 stocks remaining. And Icaro's hitting pretty with 3 and 61% damage. And taking Nest to the skies is going to be...
It's just it's the quick succession of attacks that make Bayonetta what she is, and it's really hard to play against it as a character who takes a second, needs to be able to charge up their own attacks and kind of play against it. So as you see, Mr. Purple wanting to play as defensively as possible, Icaro's going to abuse it, immediately grab, and then send you to the skybox once again.
That was a near 0 to death stock from Icaro, but finally able to take some damage. Oh, and try to land a spike, not going to happen. But Mr. Purple sitting dangerous at 1-2.
Yep. Just going to be able to hit a little bit of melees, and unfortunately, it just seems they're going to be able to live, but it's all up to Mr. Purple landing this hit, just barely going to get that out. However, you immediately get grabbed the moment you step up. That's a little bit of childhood trauma for me right there.
Yep, and still Icaro with 3 stocks. It is a possible 3 stock area that Mr. Purple does not want to be in. So, gotta figure out a way to find an opening to get Icaro off the stage. And that's gonna be a very close option. And the follow.
See, that's really what you should be doing as that Nest. Force Bayonetta as far as you can. You just get away with so much, especially with that yo-yo. However, it just seems Icarus is Icaro's doing an amazing job of making sure they never leave the stage. Mr. Purple now in the last stock. While Icaro is on 15.1, this is an increasing problem.
Absolutely. 89% for Mr. Purple. Trying to play a little bit of defense. Although Icaro's really bringing on the pressure. Bringing on the ledge guard going on.
trying to just do as much as they can when it comes to shortening up this distance. I'm loving the short jumps and especially the PK fire, but that's what's going to be the death of them. Not respecting it enough. Almost forgetting that Bayonetta's going to be able to kind of hit that rewind on it last second.
It's just which time. What can you do against which time at the very last second? And then Icaro just finding that perfect opportunity. Use your up smash, and it was just game over for Mr. Purple. 12-4 DePaul, but got 2 more games left.
Yeah, we still got a lot more kind of smash to be able to kind of compete against, and I definitely feel this is still a moment for them to be able to just kind of puff out their chest and be like, you know what, that's it, we're 4-0 you. You don't even get a chance to be able to win. But I mean, Icaro had such a nice performance. I kind of just want to point that out.
And for Quinnipiac, an easy way to tie this up is, well, okay, maybe not an easy way to tie this up instantly in this next match, is back-to-back 3 stocks. That's not going to be that easy, or actually it's not going to be easy at all. It looks like DePaul is going to send in Bobby Time, the notorious Pokemon trainer player, and anytime you go up against Bobby Time, he's going to take a stock off of you. So still very much in this though, but you just gotta roll with the punches. You know what they say.
Fair enough. I mean, Pokemon Trainer in their own is kind of a different. It's a different breed of person because you can just have no playstyle and that's your playstyle. Especially because like Squirtle is really fast, Ivysaur is very slow but has long reach, and Charizard's an absolute god.
And we are getting Grit for Quinnipiac up next. You're not going to believe the character he plays as. He is a Bowser Jr. main. So this will be quite the matchup. And I wonder, I casted a game a few weeks ago. I wonder if it was Grit. Had a nice cannon ball finish to win the game against a wolf. So don't sleep on Grit.
Hey, I'll definitely give it that. Though, I'm very excited to see how this is going to work. The Pokemon Trainer versus that is a mix-up that I don't think I've ever traditionally seen. This is going to be my first time kind of seeing how these playstyles truly match up against each other.
It's definitely a matchup we don't see a lot. We don't really see a lot of Bowser Jr.'s in tournaments. He's definitely one of those characters that's, you know, honestly, I don't like to say a character. I mean, sometimes I'll say a character's bad, but in reality, I don't think really a Smash character is bad. It's just how you play as them and how you use your other opponent's weaknesses to win, basically. That's how you play the game. So definitely, we'll see how Bowser Jr. is used. We'll see how, we pretty much know how Pokemon Train is used a lot. Bobby Time has a really great presence here for DePaul. So we'll see. Yeah. Great matchup. So
I definitely agree. And there's no real way. I think this is going to be all up to the Pokemon Trainer side to see how you kind of play against it. And that's severely just since it is so annoying to try to kind of move in against that. Bowser Jr. has a lot of spam, also has that like down B bomb, which can be kind of like oppressive. But the Pokemon Trainer has so much adaptability and variety to be able to switch and however you really want to play. So I think it's all up to them to see how they try to play against it. The Bowser Jr. though is basically going to be on the back foot. They set the pace of the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of move sets from Bowser Jr. They got, you know, as you mentioned earlier, the bomb. That's the down B bomb is going to be very. We're going to see a lot of that, I expect, and then we're also going to see a lot of that dash move, and then also the combo of recovery where you get stuck by the cart and then get spiked. Hoping to see a little bit of that, but who knows. And then with Pokemon Trainer, you know, you get the pace set with like Squirtle to get a little bit of damage off, and then you switch to Ivysaur, get more damage, possibly a kill, and if you can't kill with Ivysaur, you switch to Charizard, and then Charizard finishes it.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit more, I think more like a rock, paper, scissors, especially after that immediate switch. Though there isn't much of a delay in I feel that's even a more of a benefit because it slows down your descent. So let's say that Charizard gets flown up, boom, Squirtle, and then you can upbeat your way back instead of having to like use Flame Charge and you take a little bit of that chip damage, which may be a big problem.
Yeah, you definitely want to look out for that in this matchup here. Also, we obviously saw the stage battlefield, so that's gonna be the stage. Final Destination, Town, and Smashville were the bands, but that doesn't really matter if we know what stage we're on. So let's just jump right into it. And already 20 apiece for both these characters here.
It's the Bobatom versus the Grit. We're seeing these bombs more used as kind of a space type of scenario. However, look at this. Bobby's doing an amazing job with this Squirtle to be able to push further, and Grit has to be careful because when they're out of their like ship, they only really have a hammer for the kind of the mid-air hits, and that's just a really bad kind of matchup against a tiny opponent like Squirtle.
And the thing is, when you're going against small characters and you're a little bit taller, doesn't really apply too much in this matchup, but it's always harder to hit smaller characters if you're a little bit taller just because, you know, the frames.
Luckily, though, Ivysaur is going to be able to come back on the point more often than not. It's what makes them so good.
Ooh.
And then, no, wait, Charizard lives?
Charizard's pretty heavy.
Charizard is a very heavy character, so it's just needing one Flame Charge to be able to take out this Bowser Jr. I want to point out this is the literal Bowser Jr. instead of one of the variants like Iggy or something. Grit's doing an amazing job of making sure Bobby can't play the game, but Bobby's doing an even better job of not dying.
Yeah, I always go with plain old Bowser Jr. over the other kids. And a nice little propeller up smash attack. Gonna take Grit 3 stocks and lose 1 for Bobby time. Weird way of saying it, but I said it anyway. 41 already too. Sheesh.
Yeah, fair enough. I want to be seeing a little bit more Squirtle or Charizard. I think Ivysaur's really only good for that recovery, not really for anything else. And Grit is just doing such a good job. Look at Grit.
Oh my goodness.
Way up. Though Charizard heavy enough to live.
Grit's got the sauce already. Here comes another hit. Here comes the bomb. And then there's that spinning dash attack. Charizard trying to get back onto the platform. Not gonna happen. As Grit is up.
That hammer already does so much damage when it's like outside of the mech, so it's just really nice to be able to see that kind of in the midway, though Bobby being able to trade in that stock is going to be a small benefit. It's still not the best. You need to be able to combo and hopefully down spike here.
Oh my goodness, that was a little too close for there, Grit, and now Bobby time. Still has yet to take a little bit of damage at all. Get a little vine whips going on. Here comes a little boomerang, and now Grit finally ends the streak of Bobby time not getting hit. Although he does have 93, make that 99, and it's going to be kind of back and forth all of a sudden.
I'm really impressed by Bobby's own Ivysaur using the Razor Leaf to force out the shields, letting them have a little bit more room to push in, and then getting these nice little sweet kind of Vine Whip combos. It does have a lot of benefit, especially because you're not as big as a target, and you're not taking as much damage as a Squirtle. So it's kind of that good middle ground, and that's not something we've ever seen often.
Absolutely. It takes a few little plant boomerang things to stop that cannonball. It finally does, and then Charizard comes out and then immediately switches back to Ivysaur, and now it's just one stock apiece for both these schools.
Yep, this is for Bobby to be able to come back. We saw how the Ivysaur did before, and Quinn has to just, well, try and stop this out. Grit is doing a good job, though, immediately wanting to be as annoying as possible, using the bomb, using the card, just to be able to make that space up, and then the bomb, it stops any form of recovery. It seems, though, not even going to be looking at you as you face death.
Yeah, and really kind of had a hard time who got that last stock just because both faces were kind of neutral. At the same time, I couldn't tell, oh, who's dying here? Oh, it's Ivysaur. So, great win for Quinnipiac as they nail it down to just one stock at the very end. But Grit showing a lot of what his name really stands for this matchup.
Ooh, it's going to be looking kind of nice. We're getting closer and closer. And I think that kind of matchup is going to be more favorable to the Pokemon trainer as we kind of go into the second set. Solely just because you now know how to play. And, well, you realize that that Ivy Sword, that range benefit is helping you a lot. And I think kind of later on, it was much more of a kind of asset.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It's definitely we saw a lot of pretty much back and forth play. I thought in that one, and there's just a little bit of control going one way and then a little control going the other way, really. So this next upcoming match really could just go. I couldn't tell you who's gonna win this next matchup. It looks like Lilat, Yoshi's, and Kalos are the bans, and Smashville is the pick.
Oh, Smashville, Smashville. I'm trying to remember what map that is off the top of my head, but it's not a Pokemon map, and we need that home turf advantage. Come on, Bobby Town. Oh, yeah, it's Animal Crossing. How could I ever forget? Especially because Grit's starting us out with a beautiful upstart combo.
Yep, and already Bobby Time taking 71-90. Not even 10 seconds, and already Doc Grit just starting out super, super hot.
A little bit of a struggle that we're going to be seeing. Bobby,
goodness.
though, very angry, wants to be able to stop them from getting back. Look at this. Charizard does so much damage, and it's just absolutely annoying. But Grit is just so good at coming back no matter the problem.
Now, Bobby Tom might be sticking with this Charizard here a little bit. And, oh, the bomb able to clip him, and then Bowser Jr. laying out some hammer time action here. And then just a nice little Majestic Dragon spin move off from Bobby Time. Coming in clean. Also gets clipped by the bomb.
This is more impressive luck than I think of anything. Normally, Bowser Jr. would have been already sent, especially against a Charizard. But Bobby isn't really doing any of those head-hard hitting attacks until that grab gets used, which very much can lead into a direct kill. But still at 85% and more wanting to get as much damage in as possible is not always the best strategy.
Yep, it's 2-2 apiece. However, Bobby Time sitting at 108. Make that one stock, losing out another stock, and Grit really bringing the heat once again.
Look at this. Grit just is so good at just immediately crushing down. So, with this Ivysaur coming back, it's been kind of that pressure that I've been pointing out, and it's been very good going up against Grit, even when Grit is kind of being able just to immediately move forward, grab you, place these bombs, so you don't even have a form of recovery. But now it's a chance of, can you even touch back?
My goodness, and there's that flame spark, but does not quite work, and you can't recover. That's not how you want to end it, but Grit's gonna take it, and that's gonna be good for Quinnipiac as they take two stocks, and then 2 extra points from that, making it 9-12 for Quinnipiac, and they are knocking on the door as this last game, this could be Quinnipiac's chance to sneak up from behind and win it.
My goodness, I gotta say, I said it beforehand, that was going to be towards the Pikachu. And then they made me bite my tongue. They made me look like an absolute joke. I don't know. Maybe it's just the absolute adaptation, as they were just able to kind of move forward. The Bowser Jr. was a lot more oppressive than I truly expected, and maybe that's just because of the recovery ability of using that car, being able to jump back in, and your own kind of bomb/hammer being able to do so much damage.
Absolutely, and just a lot of great combos and follow-throughs from Grit really just led it to that victory. And yeah, it was just that last recovery, really, it was the only thing not working out for Bobby Time at that last moment. Yeah, just can't recover. But either way, Grit was ready for that play, bringing out the dual drills. So not much was gonna happen. And let's see what we have coming up next. Billy Shilly for Quinnipiac.
Ooh,
and Billy Shilly, and then Icona for DePaul. Billy is a Pokemon trainer main, and Icona is Young Link. So we'll be seeing another what do you call it? Another PT main.
Yeah, Young Link, I think, is by far one of the better Links right now in the game, if not by far the best when it comes, solely just since you're going to be able to put in a lot of poke pressure. Do you know how annoying it is to go up against a Young Link who throws out a bomb, and then you grab it, and then they shoot you with an arrow, and then you got to throw it down? You can't even get value off of it. It could be absolutely annoying, especially with your up, down, down B. It's just absolutely strong.
You don't want to get caught up in that. That's all I know. And it's just too complicated to get away from it. And it's just a lot of bomb arrows and other bombs and boomerangs for Link. That's how you play as him. And looks like we have. Oh boy, there was a TMI moment. I'm not going to get into, but uh, we're getting request to just gentlemen over to PS2, and I always like that move. How about you?
It's everybody's favorite map. I definitely gotta respect it, and I mean, not too much of a TMI though. Not a respect for you, I won't say it, but it seems that something about you've got some jingles on, right? South?
Something like that. Not quite sure. I'm just looking at a live chat that's not safe to say. Well, yeah, no, it's just not safe to say. But it actually looks like we're not going to be gentlemening to PS2. And yep, because so for those who don't really know how bans work, the loser of the last match, they elect to ban first, and they ban one stage, then the next person bans two, and then the loser gets to ultimately pick. So 3 stages are banned, and then leaving the last stage to be picked. So we're just gonna do it the traditional way. I think that made sense how I described it. I really am not sure.
I can't say
I don't
it
know.
was too confusing. We all at least have some form of
Yeah.
Smash knowledge. Either way, I think we're just more excited to see the upcoming match than anything.
Yeah. Basically, all right. Easy way to describe it. For bands, it's 1 band, then 2 bands, then the pick. That's the best way to describe it.
Oh.
And the pick was PS2. So instead of gentlemen PS2, they banned until they got to PS2. I don't do this. Oh well. Oh well. It's all good. PS2. It's PS2, guys.
Don't worry about the logistics of it. I'm just really excited. Young Link was actually the first character that I picked up in Smash Ultimate. It was by far my favorite.
He's a really fun character. Is he the fast? No, that's Toon Link. That's the fastest, right? I think, yeah. Toon Link is the fastest.
Toon Link is the fastest, but Toon Link is the easiest to knock off the stage. That's the issue.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
Young Link is like that good middle ground, as well as like Young Link has very floaty weapon attacks, especially the arrows and bombs. They can be very easy to grab and very easy to break. But with this Goron tunic, they're ready to keep up the heat.
There, I saw what you did there on Toon Link. Let's go.
Thank you. This is just a button check though on the bright side.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
at least we get to see the benefits. But Young Link has so many benefits over both adult and kind of Toon Link. However, those are, I think, kind of defined on your own playstyle. But Young Link overall is one of the better ones, especially from the better game.
And this, I can't stress this out enough. This is a very, very, very crucial game here. Game 5 for Quinnipiac. If they win it all, but I mean, it's also how you win, obviously. There's a few different scenarios. I mean, really, DePaul just has to win out and they seal it. But really, in any term factor, Quinnipiac has to win all. I think pretty much Quinnipiac has to win all of them, basically. So that's how the point system works. If you get 2 3 stocks, you get 8 points. I'm not expecting that to happen. If it goes down to a stock and a stock, then you get 4 points, and that could be dangerous if you go up against DePaul. Because what if they get a win, and you only win the set with 1 stock for each round, and you only get 4. So that could complicate things for Quinnipiac. So really, their best option is to just win it all. My math is really confusing. I know it's the point system that gets really confusing sometimes.
I'm more worried on just the water Pokemon going up against the fire Tunic. You know, if only they had the like in-game logistics. And look at this, spam pressure and control. This is what Young Link thrives on, and already still has really good close-up options. It's the best of both worlds.
For sure, really. So far, in these first 20 seconds, it's just been kind of even. Just kind of missing hits, but now we're seeing a little bit of hits being hit now. That's a weird way to put it.
I can definitely agree to that. The benefit is Squirtle is a good zoner as well, especially just since Squirtle's much faster than Young Link, and Icana's not going to really be able to do much when it comes to that spam, nor are they attempting to, so Billy's being able to just walk in, try and do as much damage. However, look at that. These close quarter options are still very great, and Squirtle takes in a lot of damage, but that's the benefit of the swamps.
And there goes Icona striking % left, and now Billy Shilly was Charizard for a little bit, but back over to Squirtle. Had a lot of success at Squirtle in that very first sequence, but needs a lot of Squirtle action here and now.
Yep, looking to just be as defensive as possible. Billy wants to be able to take out this Young Link as fast, solely just because the longer this Young Link lives, the more spam they're going to be able to commit in, and obviously that means in more damage. But the bigger problem just comes in is that Young Link is still a very hard character to live in. Their grapple is so far, they're able to come back whenever, and look at these combos. How are you going to be able to stop such a cutie?
Absolutely. Here come the bomb arrows and the bombs and the sword follow through and the loss of stock from Billy Shilly. So already we're seeing Charizard out. Just gonna guard the edge with Fire Breath. Doesn't quite work, just how Icona was able to get to the stage. Some more aerial kicks.
Thor is not the strongest of when it comes to just those kind of crowd controls, and Icana's going to be able to come back no matter what. Link is such a good character. That's why you got to be looking for the grab, but they still live?
My goodness. Icana's just able to survive.
Thank goodness. You know, that would have been very illogical if that managed to bring it all the way back into a type of, you know, scenario. And I think now going out with Ivysaur is going to be a bigger problem. Yeah, yes, you have a tiny bit more range, but Icana has more spam. And look at that, already trying to set up to be able to up smash you.
Able to recover back on from stage. And there's some Ivysaur aerial moves, and now try a bit of stuff right there, and it's the down air for Icona. And with that, that's 2 points for DePaul, making it 14-9. So this doesn't look good for Quinnipiac here.
It's definitely a type of comeback area where you have to, you know, rig the system. I think at this point, it's really hard. That Young Link is just so good. I'm absolutely a big fan of just seeing this Young Link pop out, especially when they're not really purely spamming. Everything is more of a setup. You can be really punished if you're just sitting there spamming your fire arrow, spamming the bombs, or boomerang. And, you know, that's a lot what kind of the lower Smash players or people who are like really casual tend to have more fun with, like me. So seeing it used into these optimal opportunities have been just kind of a fever dream for me. I'm not used to it.
Absolutely. Just this last play right here. Let's just dive into it real quick. Good boomerang to send him up to the platform. Gives Young Link that nice opening to go with the down air to finish it off. And speaking of finishing off, great stage to finish off matches is Final Destination. So we're just going to go straight to there, obviously. Town and Smashville and Lilac were the bans. It's smart to ban Lilac, just saying. It's like the smartest thing to do is ban Lilac. But Final Destination, that's where we're going.
Oh man, you know, I like Final Destination. Definitely love your own frustrations. Now, this is where we're going to be able to see Icona truly thrive in an area where there's nothing stopping them from being able to just hit with these combos.
Yep, already 60, 77 to nothing, 88 to nothing, make it 99. And I'm just going to keep listing that number because that's all we got to know. And now already switching over to Ivysaur, trying to land something here. Still struggling to get a hit off Icon. Popping off, and clean percent ratio there.
And thank goodness PETA's not here, or else this would be an entirely different broadcast. We're already being able to see Icona pretty much feel like they're almost with infinite stocks, though Billy wants to be able to put in that pressure, trying to just air pressure as much as possible. But then Icona comes in, it's with the boomerang. So many options, and so little the Squirtle can do.
Absolutely, and just moving back and forth with Squirtle here. He's kind of got the almost the most success with getting a lot of damage on Icona, especially from that last matchup. This matchup, not so much, but able to get 92 finally on Icona after remaining clean after that first stock sequence.
They're already coming in. Icona almost gonna be falling out. Billy is just looking so aggravated, wants to just finally take out this young Link, but the recovery is being so good.
And a great response from Billy Shilly here. However, that 90% is not looking great for him, especially going up against a young Link that has projectiles for days.
It's being that big problem. Though, getting this even trade in, the Ivysaur is not really going to be the best type of character to try to have this long-term lasting, but it's not the worst. Luckily, though, look at this range the Ivysaur almost had. It's what the restart kind of benefits for, but Charizard immediately gets punished for even trying.
Yeah, that would almost be a miracle that Charizard recovered, but I kind of wasn't having it today. And now here comes Squirtle. But then go ahead.
Squirtle's fast. Squirtle's got those combos, and I think if there's any character to try to ignore, come in for these grabs, and be able to pressure through Icona, it's going to be that Squirtle.
And there you go. There's some Ivysaur aerial down there from Icona's young Link. Young Link has some pretty good aerial. We don't really think of young Link, but he's got he's got a pretty decent air game.
I definitely agree. Look at this, feeling a little classy, though Icona. Look at that, just so much room to be able to come back. Billy is having so much pressure. The Ivysaur comes in solely just because of that little bit of range, and there is a lot of what you can do, especially with these vine-based attacks. However, it's getting to the edge.
Oh, and a little, but Icona gets the worst of it. Billy Shilly with 118. Oh, that was a great opportunity to take some punishment there, and Billy Shilly does allow some punishment to happen. 118, trying to survive as best as he can, trying to keep Quinnipiac alive just a little bit longer, but here comes Icona.
Trying to do as much as they can. Billy needs to go into the Charizard. Charizard does a lot of damage, so maybe you can spike, maybe you can shut this down. Look, he's obviously trying to set it up, but the problem is you're a little bit too predictable, and it seems that Icona's going to be able to play around it, but the flamethrower is so annoying. Just look, the moment you come back in, you get hit with it. Icona's got to be frustrated right now, so has to use that bomb just to be able to open up.
Oh my goodness, it's coming down to this. That almost was a spike, but trying to recover, and there's a spike!
That's what I'm talking about. The best way to be able to bring it back. What did I say? What did I say? The adaptation is there. The Charizard flamethrower conversion was absolutely clean, and that young Link went from sitting back to sitting up now.
Absolutely. Like, this was a match where Icona Icona was just flat out near perfect, especially in that first stock sequence. Didn't take a hit whatsoever. But then here comes Billy Shilly just surviving as much as he can, taking blow for blow, and finally, just at the very last second, taking it to the edge, taking it to the ledge of the stage, and then just finishing at such perfection with the spike. And we got a game 3, and this is close for Quinnipiac. Still going to be a mountain to climb to try to win the game.
More than anything, this is much bigger than a mountain. This is a Mount Everest type of mountain. But like that gives me hope. You know, I think the adaptation and being able to kind of switch up your play style to be a lot more aggressive in that sense, where you're putting a lot more pressure onto Icona, is what's working the best. Because Icona almost had it, as you see, the bomb, but with the spike. If that had missed, you possibly could have lost that entire round.
No, if you were not at the right position for that spike, Young Link would have taken you down, honestly, because that would have given him that just would have given him positioning well, and that honestly that could just ended your stock right there, or it would have given Icona the ledge again, and then able to ledge guard if Young Link has a good ledge guard. But the last stage is gonna be Kalos to finish things off here. 14-10. So Quinnipiac has to win with 2 stocks. Actually, if they want to win, if they want to win this entire thing, they have to have at least 2 stocks. If they win with a 3 stock, then they absolutely win and dominate. But with, I think with 2 stocks, they should.
You can do it, Billy. I believe in you.
Because if it's 2 stocks, they would tie. And then we would go to some sort of sudden death overtime situation, which Icona does not want.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is where the Pokemon stage is going to be giving that home field advantage, at least for Billy. This is what you've been looking out for. Though with these platforms being so far out, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for Billy to truly come up, because that gives a bit more of an advantage for the Young Link to try to combo in. But look at that beautiful save to be able to protect themselves.
Absolutely. And now Billy Shilly standing at a dangerous 120. 90. And just there's that guarding edge right there from Charizard. Fire, flamethrower. But here comes some boomerangs and bomb arrows. Gotta avoid those.
Oh my goodness, the spacing has increased. Icona is coming in with an actual vengeance, just no longer wanting to let Billy set up. But flame charge is used for.
Just a nice little flame blitz from Billy Shilly. He strikes first. He is out for blood. 174. Oh, this could be. Oh, he survived. He survived. And he's really. I can hear the sweat dripping from his hands right now as he's playing this game well. He did lose his stock, however.
I definitely have to agree. At least this is a kind of equal trade, I'd say, for the benefit of Billy, because I kind of now has to play a bit more of the defensive. Is not going to be able to kind of keep up that speed, and it's more losing out in the pace comparably to Billy. So now this is where you're going to be probably seeing Icona get a lot more annoying.
For sure. Really, Icona, all he has to do is just get Billy just to 1 stock. That's all he has to do, because even if Billy Shilly wins with 1 stock, he only gets 13 points for the entire set. So if you only get 1 stock, if you get 1 more stock off Billy Shilly, you instantly win. But Billy Shilly, he's been cranking it up here, so definitely don't wanna count him out yet. Oh.
Having to just be carefully. They are both at such a high percentage and at even levels. This is getting absolutely intense. Quinn wants to be able to try and grab, but it's going to be able to hit that. Send you out of here. I wish they made it so it broke the glass. That'd be such a nice moment.
And with that, it's DePaul's game, but we got to finish it out either way, because what would be fun if we didn't finish out that rest of the match here. Really great overall game between both of these players here, and we'll finish it with commanding fashion.
Look at this. Now, last moment. Who will be able to bring it back? Will Billy be able to make this comeback true? Icona does seem otherwise, being able to spam this, wanting to limit their options and force them off the stage.
Just a lot of bomb arrows and bombs and boomerangs. That's all you can say when you're watching Young Link play. And there's the final. Wins it for DePaul with a whopping 17-10 victory. But hats off really to Billy Shilly at the very end. That was, keeping Quinnipiac alive, and it was a really close match. It was a really close match at the end.
I think it's a lot closer than you really wanted it to be, especially being so close to that match point. So at least Quinn can definitely say that they brought their A game in, and they've got some true star talent. It's going to be more of how they try to adapt and around the play, because I kind of was just able to kind of bring in the clutch factor a little bit more, though that young Link did have to work for it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Definitely trying to survive the most out of it. And it was a lot, like I said, it's just a lot of projectiles that Young Link is. That's the secret of how he wins. So you just got to find a way to avoid those projectiles and then try to get in close. But then when you get close, that happens too. So Young Link, that's the last matchup you go up against. It's kind of hard to go up against in almost every point in time.
Definitely have to agree, but hey, it's still not over just yet. At least we got one more beautiful round of just Smash Bros to be able to see what team is also going to be coming home with the victory. Because so far, I think this one's been the closest one so far today, at least for us. I think the first one was very fun to watch, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, and then it gets close. So that's the benefit of watching Smash. But before we get to our next match, we're going to bring you guys an interview from the winning team, DePaul. So once again, stick around. You're going to hear a really good analysis from the winning team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we're joined by Captain of DePaul here, Matt Beach. Matt, congrats on the big win today.
Thank you, much appreciated. It was definitely very hard fought. So
Absolutely. Yeah, so just take us through that. It pretty much came down to game 5, Billy Shilly versus Icona at the very, very end. And you guys had to ride Icona to the very end here. So what was kind of like what was kind of like the mentality for you guys going into this last game here, and what kind of like words of encouragement, words of encouragement you were giving Icona at the very end?
I mean, at the start of the set, it was usually just like our usual business of just like everybody like cheering and like just like our usual like funny commentary, just like having a good time with it all. But like once we realized that it was going to game 3, it was like, all right, let's hunker down here. Let's get a little bit more serious. So we made sure that the room was like a lot more quiet, so that it kind of was able to focus a little bit more. That everybody was able to like, make sure that they were not being like a distraction in any way. And it was very much like and like there was obviously like a lot more. Not saying like a lot more like as if there's never any, but like there was a little bit more than usual in terms of like offering like a little bit more like stage opinions. I think like I know that it kind of was asking Bobby Time, who's like our resident Pokemon trainer, who was playing earlier today, like, hey, should we just like hey, should I just like go to Kalos? I can't go PS2 because of DSR, like stuff like that. So just a little bit, yeah. I guess the basic idea is like there was just a little bit extra prep, like going into that game 3 right there. It was a little bit more like, okay, let's try to pull this. Let's try to pull this off as much as we can.
Definitely a fair sentiment. I'm definitely glad you guys, the moment it went to the map 3, you went sat back and sat forward, just really prepared. But let's say, for example, you guys were kind of in the back burners. Are there like strategies and things you have planned just to make sure that your mentals are always refreshed and prepared?
I think it depends a lot on like player to player. We try not to have everything be like, or at least from my opinion, at least I try not to keep everything like too I guess you could say like too standardized in terms of like how we all like keep ourselves like prepared or like chilled. Like I know some people want to listen to the game audio. I know some people like me, for example, just want to listen to like music. I know some people just want to use the bathroom before they go play their match again, like me. So it's much more a matter of like making sure like the resources are available for everybody in case they do, like for whatever it takes for them to like enter like more of like a focus state. Make sure that they're able to like, I guess, like play in the zone as much as they can. So as long as we're able to provide the resources for everybody, no matter what it takes to like be the whatever it takes to like in order to focus, then that's kind of like the main thing that's important to us on that end.
Yeah, and obviously next week there's no game. You guys get a bit of a bye week. Is there like pretty much any plans to just kind of take a break and relax and recover, or is it just back to practicing once again and make sure y'all don't lose a step?
That's kind of a tricky thing to answer because we're in the midst of our finals right now at DePaul.
Ooh.
So it's finals. So this is like week 1 of finals week, and then we have week 2 of finals week next week. It's kind of like a Tuesday to Tuesday sort of deal. So on one end, having like a gap week is really, really helpful for us because we get to focus on like academics and whatever else we might be missing on that end. But it's also like we'll try to get like our practice in as much as possible. I mean, we try to keep like our usual venue where we practice, the game, like the DePaul Gaming Center. We try to keep that open over the next like couple of weeks so that when people do have some downtime, they just want to like practice and get away from things for a bit. That'll be like an option for sure, but it's definitely going to be a little bit more focused on getting past the end of the quarter here more than anything else, I want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to finish off, is there anybody you'd like to give a quick shout out to wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, as always, huge shout out to everybody that's a part of like the DePaul Smash community. We have all sorts of people that have been coming in to like help with practicing, help with like hanging out. We've had a few people that are actually more of like the hardware technicians. They're willing to like help take apart controllers, start cleaning things out, fix things up a little bit. There really is like a lot of people, including like even like non-DePaul students that are willing to like help out, give us some practice, matchup advice, stuff like that. It's so at the end of the day, I mean, I can't give a bigger shout out than just to the community over here.
Awesome. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck to those finals, man. Study up.
Appreciate it. We'll do our best.
Absolutely. So coming up next, we got Manhattan College versus St. John's University, and that's going to be actually come up pretty quickly. So just a little quick break. Stick around.